Hi, I'm Joe Connolly, and today I want to introduce you to a Brooklyn business owner who has gotten a lot of very positive good press for her wine and spirits shop. And we'll get into how she did all that. And producer Neil A. Carousso will join us for this interview as well. And I want to introduce you to the owner of this Brooklyn business, Happy Cork, and her name is Sunshine Foss. First,
Hi.
hi, Sunshine. First of all, I just want to ask, is that your given name or did you change it? It's such a nice name.
That is actually my given name. I'm married, so I changed my last name, but that is definitely my given name given to me by my mom. But yes, it's definitely a unique name.
You could just give out a business card with your phone number because anybody you meet is going to remember your name, Sunshine Foss.
Oh, not necessarily. So I've been called everything from sunrise to moonshine to
Oh,
everything.
oh boy. That's a great conversation starter.
It
You know,
definitely is.
a lot of people say their homepage, their website is their store window now. But your website looks great with just a photograph of your storefront. It's a beautiful looking store. And what is your secret to presentation that makes your store look so nice, Sunshine?
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. So my background is design. I come from the design world, so a lot of
Ah,
I kind of brought that in, and I knew when I opened, I wanted to have something that was going to be pretty, something that was going to be inviting and warm, and you wanted to stay in the store. And I think the wines and spirits that are in here speak for themselves, and I'm definitely going to match those bottles to what this store is going to look like. So from the name Happy Cork, you know that it's going to be something that's going to be a happy space. And so everything in here is pretty and floral and right down to our wood cork floors. And everything was made basically using upcycled materials. So that in itself, I think, lends a beautiful hand to just what the space is.
and it's also so bright. Is that because of the way the sun happens to shine into the location, or do you have skylights, or how's it so bright looking?
So definitely one is the fact that we do have a beautiful amount of light coming in through the glass, through the windows. And then we have spotlights and the lighting behind the shelves, but it's just a bright space and it just happened to be like that. It's not any extra anything that we've added. It's definitely, I think, the name and the whole look of the space is what makes it so bright.
How is business?
Business has been amazing. We're in the middle of a pandemic, but business has been absolutely amazing. From I think the inception, I think a lot of people think that this has been it from day one, and it's not. When we opened, it was literally us trying to get people in the doors, and maybe for the first few months, I would probably say maybe 10 people a day would actually come into the store. But now with opening up delivery and shipping and a beautiful online presence, we have definitely been able to kind of capture a lot more of an audience. So business has been great.
How do you think it'll change post-pandemic?
So I'm hoping that it just keeps on growing. I think we're
Mhm.
doing everything in our power to continue the growth of Happy Court. We're such a unique niche space that I think that it's only, discovery. And after that, it's just to keep growing. I think once people know who we are, we have people coming back and we've become a destination space. So definitely, I think post pandemic, I would think that we're going to continue our growth.
And my last question before we go to Neil, how long ago did you open the business, Sunshine?
So we actually just celebrated our 2-year anniversary a couple of days ago. We opened March 2019. And when we opened, it was kind of like, okay, we're open. Everybody's going to come flooding in. And then a year in, we celebrated our 1-year anniversary where people were just starting to discover us. And then literally a week later, it was shut down. Pandemic hit.
Wow. Neil.
Such a great story, Sunshine. And like Joe said, the website's so impressive. How do you get new businesses to come in, and how are you portraying their brand on your store?
So we do have a large focus on, and I think that's one of the key things why Happy Cork has been so successful. We've been true to who we are from day one. We are a Black-owned store, so we do focus a lot on minority-owned brands, from women-owned brands that are underserved. You typically don't find a spotlight on women-owned brands in any sort of liquor store or wine store setting. And that was a huge focus for me. I'm a female. I wanted to make sure that we were represented and we had a platform. So we do have a large selection of biodynamic, sustainable, natural wines. So finding those was kind of like a challenge. And also too, one of the main things that I really wanted to focus on was giving an amazing assortment without breaking the bank. I wanted you to be able to come in and get an amazing $9 bottle of wine that's going to be organic and vegan, and the sustainable story behind it. So for sure, it was hard, but now I'm happy to say that people are actually reaching out and wanting to get their product in the store. So it's been really good to see that end of it as well.
And it must be helping these small retailers who are put out right now and can't necessarily have their store open because of the pandemic.
Yes, absolutely. And what we do, so we have an amazing assortment of wine and spirits. But one of the things that does set us apart is the fact that we carry a large assortment of local brands. So we have from anywhere from coasters and glassware and Brooklyn tea, chocolates, and all of these are from local artisans and local businesses that were not able to sustain or even make it through the pandemic. And we're like, okay, we're gonna have you in the store. We're essential. You're gonna be essential. So a lot of businesses have been able to grow even just because of that.
You sound like you've done an incredible amount of sourcing, and that's hard work.
Yes, absolutely.
Do you have sources from all over the country as well as local? How did you find all these vendors?
Research, and it was, when I started, it was me literally going on to Instagram and Google and searching for brands that I thought would make a difference being in the store. One of our earliest brands was Uncle Nearest, which was, I don't know if you guys know the story behind Uncle Nearest, but it's actually, I have the bottle here. But it is a whiskey that was created by a slave named Nearest Green. And this is the slave that created the formula for Jack Daniels. And so now, years later, the Jack Daniels family gave the land and the distillery back to the Nearest family. And by then it's a broken down distillery. And an amazing woman, author, best-selling author, Fawn Weaver, bought the company and decided, I'm going to make this whiskey in Nearest's name. And one of the best parts about it is the fact that the great-great-granddaughter of Uncle Nearest actually is the master blender on the 1884. So you have not only the first female master blender, but she's also African-American, and she's the great-great-granddaughter of Uncle Nearest. So having these stories in here alone speaks volumes.
Sunshine, how do you spell that? Spell that for people
Nearest,
who can buy it from you online.
Yes, so Nearest, Uncle, and then it's Nearest, like you're near, Nearest. And this comes in an 1856 and an 1884, and right down to the history behind the years that are dated on the bottles speaks volumes, because he was a slave and there was not a lot of any sort of information found on him except for what they thought was his birth year, the year that he died, and the year that he actually left the distillery for Jack Daniels. So they come in 3 different profiles, which 2 of the profiles we have in-house, which is the 1884 and the 1856. And the other one, which is super exclusive and only sold by Uncle Nearest, because it literally comes in, they launch it, and within 2 seconds, it's sold out.
And
Wow.
you will ship that or deliver it. How do you handle
So
online orders?
we deliver throughout Brooklyn, and we're actually opening up to Manhattan to start shipping to Manhattan, but we ship around the US.
And
So
the
you can
bottles don't
purchase it
break?
online on our website. We also have an app, so you can get the app, and it's super easy and accessible. And that's another thing we wanted to create, that making wine more accessible and easy to understand. And it's about palates, and it's about, you know, what you like, not about making it something that was going to be like seen as, oh, I can't drink this because I don't know about it. I don't know what the taste is. So even when you walk in, all the bottles have like descriptions of what it's going to taste like, and it's just really a space that you could come into and enjoy being in the space.
It must be a challenge for you, just logistics of making sure the bottles don't break, like Joe kind of alluded to. So what have you learned by doing this business?
Well, we've learned a lot. I tell people it's kind of like on the job training every
Yeah.
single day. But definitely getting the right vendors, getting the right people. It is definitely a challenge. We also, even when shipping, we want to make sure that you get that Happy Cork experience. If you're not coming into the store, we're going to send you an experience in the box. So you get a glass with it. You get, sometimes we send keychains, and we send merchandise that we get from all of our vendors. So it's a true experience that you get in the box. So it's definitely been a challenge trying to figure out those details, and making sure your inner box is good enough to ship. But it's definitely finding the right vendors and the right partners. We lean a lot on our brands. I've learned a lot through our brands. They've been in the business way longer than us. So I lean and depend on so many of our brands so dearly. It's crazy.
You said something on Black-owned Brooklyn that caught my eye, and I want to read it. There's a difference between a place where you are welcome and a place that was built with you in mind.
Yes.
What do you mean? What do you mean by that, Sunshine?
So I think as a Black-owned business, it is definitely something to be said about, typically, especially in the industry that we're in the wine and spirits world. It is a white male-dominated industry. And I think going into a lot of spaces where wine and spirits are sold, it's definitely, there's an intimidating aspect about it. And I wanted to create something with Happy Cork that was going to be for the community. I'm part of the community. So it is really a space that was built with the community in mind. It was built for the community. It was built for people to come in, feel welcome, but not just feel welcome because, I have a storefront. It is, no, this is your space. This is created for you.
How do you express that? How do you communicate that visually to your customers that was built with you in mind?
So I think there's a visual aspect to it for sure, but there's also, you come in, typically, especially in your urban neighborhoods, or even in, your neighborhoods, like for me in Brooklyn, the wine and spirit store that I have in my neighborhoods, you come in, there's a bulletproof glass. You can't touch the bottles. You can't, there's not really a selection. So with that said, I wanted to have a space that you could come in. It was welcoming. You could touch the bottles. You could come in, ask questions. So it's not just about the visual aspect, but getting a team. Like, I speak highly of my team all the time just because they are some of the most amazing people that I know. But it really is about coming in, and the team embraces you. People come in here and, they're in here for prior to the pandemic, people would be in here for hours, talking to the team, and just having that kind of warm feeling of, this is my neighborhood store. This was made for me. And so definitely it's a visual aspect, but I do say I rely heavily on just having the most amazing team.
That's great. And where do you want to go from here? What is the future plans? Hopefully post pandemic at some point.
So for me, I think I'm one of those people that kind of like take it every day, because every day is a different day. It's a challenge. So in terms of what's next, I don't know. I'm just gonna keep on going how it goes, and just keep on exploring. But I would really love, and I'm seeing it now, that a lot of these brands that were, no one knew of, they're now in larger stores. They're in Whole Foods. They're in all these different households that never knew about them. So I love the fact that all of these brands are now being like shown and showcased and given a platform. And I think it's just to keep on building off of that and just continue just shining some light on all these amazing people. That's what's for Happy Cork, I think.
I don't want to ask the knee-jerk business question, but would you open a second location?
So a lot of people ask me that question, and whether or not we're going to franchise. But I think I want to figure this one out first. It's definitely a challenge every single day, and I think have something run right, where there's nothing to be said about having your location that is doing amazing, and then you open up something else, and then the first location kind of falls flat because you're spending time with the other location or trying to build so many other different locations. And I think with the way the world is going, where we're reaching so many different people without having to be in another location, just with the fact that we do delivery and shipping, that for right now, I would definitely say not just yet. But for the future, you just never know.
Cy Sims, who started Cy Sims Clothing, he went to 18 different states, started in Lower Broadway. And what you just said reminded me of something that he once said at one of our business breakfasts on that point. He said, your toughest expansion is your second one, because now your presence in your current store is going to be down by 50%. So interestingly, what he did was he opened his second store across the street on Lower Broadway from his first one. And one sold pants or something, and the other one sold shirts. And he ran back and forth across the street all day.
That's the best business model I've heard.
It has been wonderful to talk to you. You're just going to do great. What a great story.
Thank you so much. Definitely, I want everybody to check us out online. Check us out on the app. Come into the store if you're in the neighborhood. It's definitely an experience. I'm so happy that you guys chose to highlight us. Thank you again for it. It's, I'm super grateful for it.
Our
The
pleasure.
website is happycork.com, is it?
The website is happy-cork.com.
Happy-cork.com.
And
see you
in
there.
The App Store, you can check us out. We are Happy Cork in the App Store. It's a super easy, accessible app. So I hope everybody can check it out.
We love it. Thank you. Thanks, Sunshine.
Thank you so much, guys. Nice talking to you.